Welcome, everyone, to the Up on the Soapbox podcast. I am one of your hosts. My name is Brett Schaefer. This is episode 27. Yes, we're still at it. We are in year 2 of our podcasting. With me is my co-host, my partner, Dan Piggott. Dan, what's going on with you today?
Like I say every time, not much. I don't even know what that means, but not much going on other than the usual. And we've got another busy week planned. So this is great. Everything's moving along quite nicely. But more importantly, Brett, what's up with you?
Listen,
I think that's what our audience really wants to know.
Yeah, this is where we pull the curtain back a little bit, and I'm looking forward to our great Groundhog's Day feast and celebration tonight. I think it's going to be fantastic. One of my favorite holidays of the year. I don't even know why they don't make Hallmark cards for it.
Are you smoking the groundhog this time, or are you just filleting it?
It's maybe smoking with the groundhog, but that's a whole other story. So, with us today, we got one of our favorite people on the Soapbox platform. We have John Vo, Pyramid Award winner. John Vo, right? Did I get that right, John?
You did at last.
All right. You're going to have to tell us a little bit about that. One thing that I'm a little bit reluctant to reveal about John, but I think I might have to, and I think this might go against all superhero etiquette. He's also Batman part-time. So keep that in mind. He's the president of a great company out in the LA area. The name is Whoopla, but much like Family Guy, I think it needs to be Whoopla. How do you like wheat thins? Never mind. That's an old joke. So John, what's going on, man? Thanks for being with us today. Tell us about yourself.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. And I'm not going to take any offense that it took 27 episodes to get me on here. So we'll just let that slide.
But you are the third of the new year, so that's a good thing.
And you're the first of today. So,
exactly. Southern California, I think it's 60 degrees and sunny outside. I'm wearing a t-shirt and I'm getting kind of warm, so can't complain.
All right. So let us know. So how'd you work your way into the biz? I did a little bit of digging myself, and it looked like you might have started in the computer world, and somehow you worked yourself into promo.
So in a previous life, I used to develop computer networks and manage computer networks, and then I had a project which took me all over the country for about a year or so. And when the project ended, contract ended, and so I did what any other young 20-year-old would do, with a bunch of cash because you didn't have to pay for anything for a year. I did nothing for 6 months. And can I say that I smoked a bunch of weed for 6 months? But anyways, whatever, you can cut that out. But so my sister said, "Hey, loser, what are you doing? If you're not doing anything, come help me with my company." And at that time, she was doing printed T-shirts and embroidered caps. So she says, "Come help me." And I went there and checked it out. I was like, wow, this is a business. People do this. Yeah, I can probably help you. And I didn't know how. I had no sales experience. They didn't need any network help. So I thought she was just throwing me a bone. You know what I mean? And for somehow I went and presented to Earthlink, as a very first presentation, and picked them up as a client, and they gave me an order, and it just kind of, snowballed from there.
What now? How long ago was this now? So how long has it been?
This was, I think, 1997 or 98. It could have been 99. Somewhere, late 90s.
But so then I've been in industry for a while. Whoopla came out of that, right? Or did
yes?
So how did that? What was that process like to start your own gig?
Oh, okay. So we did that for about a year, and then my sister decided she didn't want to do it anymore, and I had a few clients. So I was like, I'll just keep it as a side job. So I went back to the computer, industry, and did, the promotional products on the side. And after about a year or two, I was like, well, you know what? I don't want to work for anybody anymore. So I'm going to try to focus on Whoopla, or it wasn't Whoopla at the time. But once I hit a certain amount in sales, I'm going to quit my computer job and just focus solely on my business. And that happened about 3 months later, really fast. I thought it was going to take about a year, but 3 months later, hit the numbers and quit the computer job and just focused on my company, which I named Whoopla after many, many different iterations. and that's it. I think Whoopla started 2003 or so. Yeah.
So do you have a team now? Is it
we're all virtual. We're a small team of 4, and we've always been virtual. I've worked from home for 2 decades. So when the pandemic hit and people were like, "Oh, yeah, work from home," I was like, Yeah, so but my worst fear is that if I ever have to go work for somebody anymore, I think I'm unemployable. I don't have the social graces or the
Yeah.
know-it-all to work in an
I
office environment anymore.
I know the feeling all too well, frankly. I concur. So, from what I can tell, based on what I've seen of Hoopla and yourself, you guys spend a lot of time creating custom projects. Um, and so, a couple things there. A, sort of what might that creative process look like, within
Mhm.
your organization? Are you the point person on that, or do you take inspiration from your teammates? Is it a collaborative effort? Number one. And the other question I had for that is, does it result in custom orders, or is it a door opener to sort of you might call a standard order? Do you understand what I'm saying? Or
Yes,
do or do you or do you end up getting a bunch of custom work from that?
I could tell you that probably half of our orders are custom manufactured orders, either
That's a
domestically
lot.
or offshore. And that's the way we position ourselves. The reason being is when you first start off, you're doing off the shelf stuff like everybody else is doing. And there's nothing wrong with that. Um, but what happened to us, we started seeing is that we started getting priced out. Um, this mug from this supplier, everybody can access it, right? We sell it for a certain amount. Somebody else comes in, sells it for a nickel less. We just lost the order. Why wouldn't they order from somebody else, right? That's cheaper, regardless of your customer service. So we thought, well, you know what? If we do custom projects, that no one else can copy, then any reorders will have to go through us so we don't get priced out or outbid on those. And also just kind of positions us in a different way where we can do more creative items and creative campaigns than just pulling your mug and off a shelf and putting your logo on it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So the creative part is collaborative. It's collaborative with my team. It's also collaborative with our clients, right? Not every client has the budget um, or not even all of them are comfortable with even doing custom because it's unfamiliar to them. Once you show them what's possible, those clients that are willing to put themselves out there and willing to spend the money, they get some really, really nice stuff and nice return on their stuff. Not just value-wise, but brand recognition, employee and client appreciation, all those types of things that you don't get just giving, away a mug and a mouse pad.
I further to that, one of the things
Mhm.
I noticed on your website, we don't do boring. That's a
Yeah,
great tagline, fantastic
thank you.
tagline. But further to that, I really enjoyed when you said this, and I'm just going to read it verbatim. To essentially grab those people gently, in parentheses, by the proverbial lapels and to scream softly with minty fresh breath. I just love those little asides. Those are fantastic. But we don't do boring. That is a perfect way to position yourself in the market, and I think that draws potential customers into you. And by the way, your website is so well crafted with all the custom that it speaks to that very clearly, and I'm
Thank
certain that it
you.
does lead to a ton of other orders for the regular routine type of items as well. I did want to ask though, do you still have Earthlink as a customer?
No, we don't have Earthlink as a customer anymore, unfortunately. Things happen, not to our relationship, but to Earthlink itself. And but I still have clients who I've worked with at Earthlink. So I've had clients, that I've moved with through all the different companies that have
Oh,
gone through.
sure. That's
Yeah.
great. What you want to tell us a little bit about your Pyramid Award? That's fantastic. Congratulations once again.
Oh, thank you. Well, we won the Pyramid Award, the silver for a self-promotion campaign that we did called the Germ Blasters. And every summer we send out what we call a summer swag kit, where we send out to all of our clients just cool swag that we think will get them excited, not necessarily to sell anything in the kit, but just to show them what the possibilities are with custom items, unboxing, just the whole experience of itself. When you have a cohesive kit with curated items that all make sense and all speak to them, all have a purpose, as opposed to just random stuff that you throw in there, just because, oh, I need a water bottle, I need a pen, I need a journal, poo on all that stuff. Um, make it fun and interesting and relevant, right? So it was in the pandemic and everybody was selling PPE, right? And we just didn't want to sell it because we're a promotional products marketing advertising firm, right? So if I sell anything to my clients, it needs to have their logo on it or it needs to brand them in some way. And PPE wasn't working for us because it was all unbranded. And of course, we weren't really comfortable because we were not really medically knowledgeable. So I didn't want to sell anything that was kind of sketchy or, that would get us in trouble. So we decided, well, you know what? Let's do PPE, but let's do it in a different way where everything will be branded and everything makes sense, right? So we put together a kit with hand sanitizers, custom masks, which at the time were really hard to come by, but being in LA, we have a lot of apparel manufacturer contacts. And just mints for your mask breath, which I need all the time. And just things like that. And in a little pencil case that we had custom printed. And we called it Germ Blasters. And we designed it around the theme of, the 1980s Space Invader games, right? So we made a box that had the Space Invaders cabinet in it and everything just tied in with that design theme. And on the bag, instead of putting your name here, we put high score with a box so that you can put your initials there, just like the old 80s arcade games. I don't know if I'm dating myself here, but yeah.
Not to me.
Yeah.
If it's
right?
pop culture, Dan doesn't understand it, but I'm with you so far.
Exactly. Back in the heydays, when you had to have quarters and rolls of quarters and you line your quarters up on the machine. So you're next, right? And we sent it out to our clients. Just because, say we're thinking about you, and never with the intent of selling anything in there, right? But the side effect was that we did get orders out of it, and I did the numbers for SKU Camp, when I was a SKU Camp for Common SKU, and I think it was something like a 1,600% return on that.
Wow. Congrats, man. That's
Yeah.
great.
So yeah, so it was nice. So we spent less than 10,000, and we got mid six figures back in sales on it, right?
Good for you.
So
that's a serious ROI, as they say.
Yeah. So it was cool, So promos work, people.
Congratulations on that. We're talking about the pandemic here, and it brings up one of the things I wanted to kind of ask you about, and kind of look into your crystal ball for me a little bit, if you could.
Yeah.
So there's been a number of different, a lot of different changes have come to our industry as a result of the pandemic. Every industry has been affected by it. Ours, not the least of which is, all the virtual communication that's being done and all that. But moving ahead, looking ahead 10 years, what do you think potentially the biggest impact this era, the pandemic era, might have on promotional products?
I thought about this a lot, what we've seen is that because of the pandemic, clients weren't spending as much, but what they were spending on was they wanted to be more meaningful. So they're doing less quantity and higher quality of product. So the projects that we've seen coming across our desks are, hey, we don't want to do 1,000 t-shirts, let's do 200 really nice hoodies, and we position it that way too. Why would you want to give away junk that no one wants, right? You want to give away something that people would covet. And our barometer is, if we saw that in the store, would we buy it? And if we would buy it, then that's successful. And if we wouldn't buy it, then we have to go back to the drawing board, right? So what we've seen is clients are more mindful of how they're spending. They're willing to spend more for quality, right? So I think in the next 10 years, people who are just selling off the shelf stuff and just being order takers, I think they're going to have a hard time keeping up with those companies that are more creative, willing to curate experiences for their clients. You know what I mean? And it's not an easy conversation because a lot of companies don't have the budget for it, or they think they don't because they're in their minds, they're thinking we have to spend it this way, and our job, I think, is to elevate the industry in general, is to show them that there's another way, it's go retail themed, right? Act as if your stuff is going to be sold in stores, and design it and make sure the quality's up to par and people will appreciate it and keep it longer,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I have one other question for you here, and this is also industry based. So have you, past couple of years have been challenging, more recently last year, specifically with supply chain issues and whatnot. How have you adapted to that? Do you have any ironclad methods for managing your customers' expectations? It's been such a challenging year in that regard.
Yeah, well, you know what? Like I said, half of our business is custom manufacturing. So a lot of our clients are already used to the long lead times. So when the inventory issues happened, no one had inventory here, or domestic production was taking 4, 6, 8 weeks. It didn't really affect us too much because our normal production time on custom projects is 3 to 6 months anyways, right? So clients were kind of used to that. What was the question? I'm sorry.
No, how have you managed your customers'
Oh,
expectations? Well, how have you managed half of your customers' expectations?
yeah.
Basically.
And then they understand because a lot of our clients are retail too, so they understand supply chain issues, right? So they're understanding. But really, we just tell our clients, hey, you know what? There are labor shortages, there's inventory shortages. You can read about all the congestion at the docks when they were happening. We send them articles if they said, why is it taking so long? And they don't believe us, we send them those articles. And we just tell them, listen, this is how it is now. You got to think ahead. We've been pitching you guys, bring us to the table in the very beginning. Don't come to us at the end when you need stuff in 2 to 3 weeks. Let's sit down 6 months before when you're planning so we can plan with you, So this is the pandemic, and in a way has kind of helped our business to really drive that message to our clients. Like, we need to be there at the beginning, at the concepting stage with you guys, and it'll be a lot smoother flow,
I think it's fascinating because I do think as horrible as this era has been, the pandemic, whether it be from people passing away or just the disruption of business and all that, there seems to be so many silver linings here and there, to my view, in different industries, and innovation coming out and new ways of thinking. And you're suggesting, it's almost helped promotional products in a certain way. It's just fascinating to me that, that has been the result in certain circles for this
Right.
pandemic. Hey, switching gears altogether, you're an LA guy. You're a sports fan. Are you into this Super Bowl? You guys are in this. I know LA is not exactly like the biggest sports city in the world, but are you into it?
Yeah, I was never really a sports guy, like traditional football, basketball, soccer, or European football. I was never really into that. I was more into the stuff like martial arts and ping pong and volleyball and that kind of stuff. So Super Bowl, for me, it's about what used to be about the movie trailers and commercials, right?
Yeah.
But to be honest, I haven't really watched it in the last few years. I mean, I think it was is there an upset or something?
Oh, that's great.
That just
That's
happened.
so fantastic. We found there's 335 million Americans. We found the one that doesn't watch the Super Bowl. This is great.
All right.
I'll eat Doritos, so.
On that note, I think it's time to wrap this up and let John go lick his wounds from that one. And,
right?
maybe we can send him some articles and get him into football. But John, thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it. You're a great soapboxer. Thanks for representing our brand in such a great way too. And we appreciate having you here. So have yourself a great one.
All right. Thanks for having me, gentlemen.